Hello, little adventurers, and welcome to our story time. Are you ready for a fun-filled journey into a magical forest? Great. Let's begin. Once upon a time, nestled deep within a forest bursting with a rainbow of colors, where flowers bloomed in every shade imaginable, lived a very, very lazy cat. Her name was Felfula. She had soft, fluffy fur and the sleepiest eyes you've ever seen. Felfula's two favorite things in the whole wide world were napping in sunny spots and, of course, eating delicious food. She could spend all day curled up, dreaming of tasty treats without a single care. One particularly bright and sunny morning, as the sunbeams danced through the leaves of the tall trees, Felfula decided to take a stroll. She stretched lazily, arching her back, and yawned a big, wide yawn. Her walk led her to the edge of a crystal-clear pond. The water shimmered and sparkled under the morning sun like a giant, liquid diamond. As she peered into the water, something caught her eye. It was huge. It was sparkling. It was the most magnificent fish she had ever laid eyes on. Its scales shone with all the colors of the rainbow, and it swam with a graceful flick of its tail. Felfula's eyes widened, her sleepiness vanishing in an instant. Her whiskers twitched with excitement. "Wow!" she exclaimed to herself, her voice filled with newfound determination. "Look at that fish. It's incredible. I've made a decision. From this moment on, I am no longer a lazy cat. Today, I am going to become a professional hunter." With her new goal firmly in mind, Felfula crouched low, wiggling her hindquarters just like the mighty hunters she'd seen in her dreams. She gathered all her strength, took a deep breath, and with a mighty leap, she jumped, splash, right into the cool water of the pond. But as she plunged into the shimmering water, Felfula realized she had forgotten one tiny but very important detail. Cats don't exactly love water. And more importantly, she had no idea how to swim. Her paws flailed wildly, splashing water everywhere. She bobbed up and down, sputtering and gasping. Panic set in. "Meow, help!" she cried out, her voice trembling. "Somebody help me! I'm a cat, not a fish!" It was a chaotic, splashy mess. Down below, the huge, sparkling fish, who had been watching the whole spectacle, couldn't help but chuckle. It swam up closer to the frantic Felfula, its voice calm and amused. "Calm down, little cat," the fish said with a gentle smile. "You're making quite a scene. Here's a little piece of advice. Maybe you should learn to float before you start dreaming of catching fish." Felfula stopped flailing for a moment, blinked the water from her eyes, and looked at the wise fish. Maybe it had a point. Just then, a new friend arrived at the pond. It was Bobo, the wise duck. Bobo glided across the water with the grace of a queen, not a single feather out of place. She looked at Felfula, who was still struggling to stay afloat. "I can teach you how to float, Felfula," Bobo quacked kindly. "It's quite simple once you get the hang of it." Bobo paddled closer and offered her advice. "But here's a very important tip. Don't forget to cover your nose. This pond water can be quite chilly." Felfula, feeling a little more hopeful, decided to give it a try. She took a deep breath, remembered Bobo's words, and tried to relax her body on the surface of the water. But it wasn't as easy as it looked. Instead of floating peacefully, she started to drift and bump into everything around her. First, she bumped into a patch of long, tickly grass growing at the edge of the pond. Then she floated right into a cluster of fallen leaves, which stuck to her wet fur. She even bumped her head gently on a small, smooth rock. She tried to paddle with her paws to correct her course, but that only made her spin around in dizzying circles. All the other animals of the forest had gathered by the pond to see what all the commotion was about. When they saw the clumsy cat spinning around like a top, they couldn't hold back their laughter. Cheerful chirps and giggles echoed through the trees. Felfula felt her cheeks grow warm with embarrassment, but she was still determined. Suddenly, a flash of white zipped past the edge of the pond. It was Roro, the speedy rabbit. Roro was known for being the fastest creature in the entire forest. He hopped around the pond in a blur, his long ears twitching. Seeing Felfula struggle, he shouted with a grin, "Hey, Felfula, if you really want to catch that fish, you have to be faster than me." He then darted off, leaving a little trail of dust behind him. Felfula, who was still dizzy from spinning, didn't quite understand Roro's advice. Was she supposed to run on water? Confused, she tried to leap out of the pond towards the shore where Roro was, but her paws slipped on a wet lily pad. Splash! She fell right back into the water for a second time, creating an even bigger splash than before. The big, sparkling fish swam up again, laughing so hard that bubbles floated up to the surface. "Ha, ha, ha," the fish giggled. "Oh, Felfula, I really don't think hunting is the right job for you." Felfula finally managed to paddle her way to the shore, soaking wet and defeated. She shook her fur, sending droplets of water flying everywhere. She sat down with a heavy sigh and looked at the sparkling pond, then at the tasty-looking apple she had brought with her for a snack. She thought about the fish, so graceful in the water. She thought about Bobo the duck, floating so effortlessly. She thought about Roro the rabbit, so incredibly fast on land. And then she thought about herself, a cat who loved napping and eating. A smile slowly spread across her face. "Okay," she announced to everyone, "I've made a new decision." She picked up her juicy apple and took a big bite. "I'll leave the fishing to the fish. From now on, my job will be to watch over this beautiful pond while enjoying my yummy food right here on the shore." Hearing this, the fish swam closer, and Bobo and Roro gathered around. They all burst into laughter together, a warm and friendly sound that filled the forest. They weren't laughing at Felfula anymore. They were laughing with her. From that day forward, Felfula the fish, Bobo the duck, and Roro the rabbit became the best of friends. The forest was filled with even more joy, laughter, and plenty of funny adventures. And Felfula, well, she learned that everyone has their own special talent. And while hers wasn't hunting in the water, she was an expert at enjoying life, making friends, and of course, she never, ever stopped eating. Thank you for joining our story today. Wasn't that a fun adventure with Felfula? If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for many more wonderful stories. See you next time, little explorers. Bye-bye.